A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I am your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the one droid to my other droid, it's John Campbell.
This is Droids Aplenty this week on May the Panel Be With You. Hello, everybody.
I'm sorry, the cover of this issue just kind of set me off because it's like, okay, you're clearly setting up this weird red herring that doesn't exist in this book, but whatever.
Yeah, because I will say, jumping right into the cover, which we don't always do, but I feel we have to, because I immediately had the same thought, which is I'm like, what the fuck world is this where C-3PO is calling Darth Vader?
Yeah, and like, look, we're talking about, I brought up the cover already for those of us watching on YouTube, but let us say what we're actually doing here, which is talking about Star Wars comic books. Hello, everybody. Sorry.
Hello.
Coming in hot today.
Well, because we had the same reaction to this, which I was like, wait, what? And then read the comic and went, wait, what? Again.
We're talking about issue number 76 of the original Marvel Star Wars comic. This issue was released in October of 1983, and we have a very similar creative team that we've had for the last few issues. We got Joe Duffy on writing, Rob Friends on pencils, Tom Palmer on inks, Glennis Oliver, eventually Ween on colors, and Joe Rosen on letters. And right off the bat, yep, you can see it right over here. It's C-3PO talking to Darth Vader. What?
Has C-3PO betrayed the rebellion?
And nerds on the internet, I know, before you start. But Mike, all protocol droids sort of kind of look like that. I know.
Well, and that's what this issue, that's what they're doing. But yes, they do sort of kind of look like that. But I will say, having spent enough time with the C-3PO action figure, the specifics of like the thing on the square patch on his back and the wiring, and yes, they do all kind of look like this, but they were selling this issue on hoping people mistake this for C-3PO going, I gotta know.
Yeah, and look, it's a lot dumber than you think it is. We'll get into it. This issue kind of wraps up our whole Iskalon arc rather quickly.
Yeah, I would say this storyline, which I have mostly enjoyed, does go out with more of a whimper than a bang, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Vader in it, which is great.
Yeah, we get some good Vader in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, on the cover, we got a Darth Vader raising a fist as though he's angry at C-3PO for telling a rude joke.
Well, I mean, he also should be like, I built you and you treat me like this? Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, hold on. That hasn't happened yet.
I've brought this up before, I'm sure, on here, that's always been one of the things that is like, was a big thing that matters not at all.
That is one of those things, and look, I will defend Phantom Menace for a lot of reasons.
There's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of great stuff in Phantom Menace. Yeah. I think it's a mess as a movie, but I agree with you that I don't write it off completely. But yes.
And I think that speaks to our age. Obviously, we were like 12 when that movie came out, and we were like, whoa, Star Wars, pod racing, wee! Wizard.
I remember seeing that trailer and a second lightsaber blade. I was like, what is this? And Duel of the Fates is still one of the raddest sequences in any movie, and one of the greatest pieces of score that John Williams has ever composed.
I mean, look, I don't care what you're saying about any of the mainline Star Wars movies. If John Williams is scoring it, he's doing a damn good job. Doesn't matter how good the movie is.
Hell yeah! I would say, I'll you know what? I'll go even further. Any movie with a John Williams score, never the problem. Every movie is made slightly better by John Williams. But sorry, to the point about the Anakin building 3PO is like kind of a revelation, and then you're just like, and then I think about even adding in the Clone Wars. What does that matter?
So, I guess if you really want to bend over backwards, even though this is never stated in text,
this This is why. This is, by the way, this is why I do the show with you, Gorgoni, for these moments of this to this. If you want to add, make up a couple things and then bridge two things, you go ahead.
So, 3PO is eventually the attendant droid of Queen Amidala / Padme, right?
Correct.
So, if you view it through the lens of, okay, Anakin has created this droid, it is now constantly with Padme. That is kind of a metaphor for him offering himself to her in a romantic and connective way, regardless of his physical presence. It's a grand metaphor that represents Anakin's devotion to Padme, and then it falls apart after she dies. So don't worry about that.
I was just saying that doesn't. That's fine, but that doesn't answer my point about why it matters to the saga overall. And especially the, of course, importance of 3PO in the original trilogy. Nothing is gained from that.
Yeah. And again, because it has to serve the plot that 3PO's mind is wiped not once but twice over the course of this trilogy, it becomes extra irrelevant.
That's the thing about it, right? Is you're just like, it feels like one of those things where it feels like one of those threads, and this is true about a lot of stuff, that George had an idea for, and then as he started writing the movies, whatever that thread got lost or didn't fit with whatever he was doing, so he's just like, never mind, I'm sure he had like, ooh, this is a big thing, and then it's just like, actually, now that I've put it, no. Forget it.
What it is a larger examination of Rey's origin insofar as in Last Jedi, she comes from nowhere, like R2-D2, but in Rise of Skywalker, her backstory is suddenly very important and connected to older characters like C-3PO. I just blew this thing wide open.
Anyway, you heard it here first.
Let's get into this. Exclusive. Let's get into this issue. We cut to Darth Vader.
Darth Vader! I love that guy.
We love that guy. Gentlemen, make your reports. The Emperor is very anxious to learn about the subjugation of this solar system is proceeding.
One consistent thing about Vader that I always enjoy, the man's got time for nothing. Come on, let's go. That's every scene he's in these. What are we doing? Let's go. Quicker reports. Let's go. Pick it up.
He's got a galactic empire to terrorize. He can't just stick around waiting for people to going,
He's a harsh manager. He's taking his job seriously as manager. Let's go. Time is money, people.
Tough but fair, that Lord Vader.
We're trying to build another Death Star. That's not referenced here because they don't know it yet.
Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
But yes, we find Darth Vader on the bridge of a Star Destroyer, maybe a Super Star Destroyer. It is. And he is surrounded by your classic Imperial lackeys. Some of them have thin mustaches. Some of them just look exceedingly British.
Yes. I mean, straight up David Niven is over his shoulder here.
And we have Darth Vader kind of rambling on, giving us a recap of the situation. We learn about the planet Iskalon, we learn about the planet Gamondar, and we learn about, what was the one they killed everyone on? Telfrey.
Yeah. I do like the way it goes, that's why we eradicated all life on the planet Telfrey, to make an example of what happened to those who oppose. Like, just the idea about, like, we did the math, and that was what needed to be done. So we eliminated all life on a planet.
Right. Look, Empire doing Empire things. They do what they do.
Hey, it's far from the first time. That's all I'm saying.
The Death Star, if anything, was only the most efficient way they did that.
Mm-hmm. And we'll be up and running very soon on Death Star 2.
Death Star 2.0. That's what the tech bros of the of the Empire call it.
Oh, we've updated the software on the ship there, Lord Vader, and we really feel that this thing's going to be working at peak efficiency.
We've got the new AI systems installed on... once our Death Star has a machine learning algorithm that's up to snuff, we can really get this thing humming.
Well, there's a scene I want. It's like, fire the Death Star weapon. It's like, hold on, we're updating. Give it a second. Oh, shit, I got to restart.
I joke, but that was a whole story in a short story in the old EU was IG-88's consciousness being uploaded to the Death Star 2.
Oh, God, you're right.
So, anyway, Death Star 2 is powered by AI.
Oh, Disney, how'd you let that get away?
So Darth Vader's rambling on. He's just like, hey, I need some updates here. We're recapping the issues.
Let's go. I haven't been around for a few issues. Fill me in.
And they talk about how, hey, Gamandar's telling us that they've located Tayvanis. Remember Tayvanis, that rebel pilot that Luke and all the other heroes have been looking for God, like 6 issues now?
The character who we don't know that they have mentioned so much, who is so goddamn important. And every time they mention, I'm like, all right.
Man, I've read ahead, John, so like I kind of know where this is going, and I cannot wait to see your reaction. Oh, John, we don't leave Tayvanis until the time jump that is accommodating Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's coming soon, right? Aren't we almost at the Return of the Jedi?
We are on issue 76. Issue number 81 is our, like, okay, now we're past Return of the Jedi. Okay,
so we'll do that after we cover 80 then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. The other thing I like about this is they're like, well, sir, what is this? Admiral Tower is in charge of that. He's like, Tower? This guy who I really like this. The idea that this is the guy we've been following as our main villain to this. And then Vader just comes in and goes like, that guy sucks.
If Darth Vader says you blow, then man, you gotta really suck.
Tower is an arrogant fool and a brute. And this guy's just like, yes, sir. Yeah, no, yeah, that just like I was about to say, that guy's terrible, right, everybody? Yeah, oh, yeah, he stinks, like. And they're like, well, yeah, but he's still he's still looking for Tayvanis, and Vader's like, well, he shouldn't be.
And the other officer's like, but we've literally sent dozens of guys to help him.
Well, that was a bad call. Because he even says he's just. I love his thing about Tower should be less busy in matters that do not concern him. Vanis will be dealt with in time.
Well, and we've seen in previous issues that Tower is kind of a Vader fanboy. He's doing a lot of stuff to try to impress Vader. He had a whole hologram of him in his office just to look at.
Oh, who could forget? Yeah, who could forget? This guy's got a cardboard standee. There's like a shrine to him somewhere with a bunch of Vader merch, most of which he made himself, hidden behind a door. Yeah, it's sad. And I like that Vader's like, this guy's a Vader fanboy, and then when he's mentioned, Vader's like, ugh, that guy, am I right?
But anyway, we have a corporal coming in, interrupting this very important meeting, and Vader's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Did you not hear my orders that nothing was to disturb us during this conference? And the guy's like, yeah, but there's a droid on the line for you. He's like, a fucking droid? That's what this is about? You interrupted us because of a droid?
I'm surprised this guy's not dead when Vader leaves the room.
Well, here's what I love about this as a Vader moment, because I love obviously Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, does tons of objectively evils. I love when Vader's just shitty to people without being evil. He's like, he makes a big deal about, you interrupted us for this. A droid is calling. And then this guy is like in silence from fear. And Vader just goes, all right, fine, I'll take the call. Like, with no further information, he chews this guy out only to then take the call the guy was trying to give him. Wow!
Yeah. It's like, not evil, but really mean.
Yeah, that's the thing I like. Is he's also just a terrible boss. Like, oh, God. Even if it doesn't reach levels of murder, of which, that's very likely too. Anyway. And then he's just like, hey, what's up, K3PX? Remember K3PX, everybody?
I told you at the top of the episode, the droid and the other droid.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The famous droid that isn't C-3PO.
I like how they never, in the last issue we saw K3PX had like a distinct different head. The artist here doesn't even try.
We are really just trying to make those published dates at this point.
Yeah, so it's just the outline of C-3PO. This image could have very easily been copy and pasted from the, like, what are those little art icons called around the, like, top left corner of comic books? Do they have a particular name? We should know this, right?
Well, it's the publisher's box is what you're talking
Yeah.
about. But I don't know if there's a specific for the icon that goes in there. If you're reading a Captain America issue or a Spider-Man issue, that's
It's
who's in
usually the
there.
character's head or something, yeah. And in
Yeah,
Star
yeah.
Wars, it's generally been C-3PO and R2-D2 standing in like that classic 3PO
Which is
just
fair.
behind R2 pose. Yeah.
I would say they are the mascots of Star Wars.
Sure, yeah. But
Everybody
anyway,
knows them. Even if they don't know their names, people see them and go, oh, those are the robots from Star Wars.
the gold one in the trash can. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, iconic. Anyway. And so he's there to say, don't worry about Gamondar. Iskalon is the real problem.
And Vader's like, explain.
And he's like, oh, don't worry. He wiped out life on that planet, basically.
Yeah, Tower sent a missile to devastate Iskalon, but there was one problem, and that is that there were rebels on Iskalon, and one of them's name was Skywalker.
Even before he learns that, he is like, well, that's a big overstep for Tower. He didn't ask anyone's permission to shoot a space missile. Space missiles don't grow on trees.
Yeah. But then we get a good rage panel. I love it when artists can capture Vader's emotion without like actually morphing the mask.
Right. Well, is it because of all the bright red energy around him that indicates he's super pissed?
Vader is big mad.
Yeah, real. I mean, they talk about this is a total like anime move here. The like, what?
You expect the sound of the exclamation point above his head.
Oh, Tower!
Right. So Darth Vader, remember, knows that Luke is his son. So when he says that this guy he's not a fan of has maybe killed his son, Vader, understandably, is peeved.
Well, that does it. This is the final straw. Yeah. And so
Meanwhile,
anyway, let's go to Iskalon that has been aforementioned devastated.
Yeah, we're back in the seas of Iskalon, riding the wreckage of Pavilion, that like underwater tourist trap that was built here by the sea peoples of Iskalon in order to communicate with the surface world. And it has, of course, been utterly destroyed by Tower's space missile.
Yeah, people are real sad.
Yeah, people are real sad. We learned that Primor, the leader of the Aqua people of Iskalon, got killed in the explosion. There's this whole betrayal circumstance with another character's wife who's running around here. And then we have Kiro, a character introduced last issue as like maybe an antagonist, but turned out it was just that he had seen the treachery afoot and was trying to head it off at the pass.
Because yes, last we left it for those who didn't join us last week, and you should. It's easy enough.
That's fine. Luke's going to recap the issue right now.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it was revealed to them that the wife of their friend Monet,
right, Monet, who's the son of Primor, the leader of this world.
This guy showed up, and for some reason, Luke and Leia just immediately believed him, or at least gave some credence to the concept that he's like, right before this all happened, I heard, what's her name? Monet's wife?
Oh, I'm totally blanking on that right now.
Anyway,
it's okay.
I heard your friend's wife as the one who signaled to the Empire, so she's a traitor and is responsible for this devastation.
Yeah. And they're kind of going along with it for now, though they're in the middle of a big crisis, so maybe, I don't know. I'm giving Luke some benefit of the doubt here of just like, neither Luke nor Leia are natives to this planet. They've been left here by Lando and Chewie, because Lando and Chewie and Monet are off on a different planet, still looking for that Tay Vanis.
They are at least considering the possibility this guy is telling the truth, but they really aren't taking immediate action on it.
Right. They're just sort of mourning the dead at this point. But then, uh-oh, what's this? Sea monster.
It does feel like somebody was like, you better get a monster in there at some point too, or else
it's really sudden.
Yeah. It is just like, I'm sorry, it's been this many pages without the appearance of a creature. I don't know. We're obligated.
I mean, if you're in a Star Wars, you expect weird space monsters. That's just how it works.
You do. Here it is just like, what is that? And I like Luke being like, what is that?
Come on, Luke. It's a sea monster. Catch up.
Yeah, but anyway, this guy grabs Luke's stinger because these aren't blasters, they're stingers on this planet.
We know they're stingers because they also work underwater.
Yeah. And he shoots this thing right down its throat.
And it seems fine.
Ree!
I don't know. The implication here is that there's a bunch of these things swimming around, though it's tough to, like, we never see more than one of them in a panel, so it's tough to differentiate.
Yeah. Apparently he eats stinger.
These are the Chiaki. How would you say that? Chiaki?
Yeah. Chiaki is how I said it, yeah.
Chiaki.
Chiaki. I guess the alternate pronunciation could be Chiaki.
Yeah. I don't know. They're sea monsters. They look like, what if the Loch Ness Monster had big bug eyes?
Yeah. Once again, we're not working overtime on this comic. We're not putting in it is funny to me how high selling this comic was for how much, this was just like, oh God, and we got to put out Star Wars this month.
I'm pretty sure the Herculoids fought something like this.
I mean, I would not be surprised. And also, it does feel like they recycle a lot of imagery. Like Thor could also have fought this thing this month,
Yeah. But anyway, they're saying, like, okay, there's so much dead in the water after the missile explosion. That's what's attracting the sea monsters. Is these things are now starting, they've chummed the water. These things are like the sharks of this world, and now they're just coming through, eating the dead. And if that doesn't satiate their hunger, they will feed on the living.
So just keep that in mind.
So he hands Luke his stinger back, and is just like, look. We can't save everybody. If we tried, we could probably get ourselves killed, and that's about it.
Yeah. So, once again, we're just going to, be here.
Yeah, they're just chilling out. Well, and they're all turning to each other. Luke's like, hey, Leia, you look tired. Maybe you should get some rest, and I'll take watch. Kiro, you can get some sleep too. Kiro's like, I'm not gonna go to sleep while the people around me suffer on my world. And Leia's like, no, I gotta do something for the wounded here. And Luke's like, well, I guess we're all staying up then, because I'm not gonna go to sleep while you two are up.
And then all of a sudden, hey, those people are the ones that caused this.
Yeah, it's Kendall. Kendall is the wife of Monet.
That was the name, Kendall, yeah.
And she's whipping up an angry mob to point at Luke and Leia, even though she is the one who triggered the whole we got our planet nuked thing. She is turning everyone, all of these other fish people of Iskalon, on the two rebel heroes here.
We were on a great streak of no one bombing us. Then those two showed up.
And just because I told the people with the bombs that they were here...
And she's just like, and because I am the wife of the son of the leader, I think the secession plan falls to me.
Yeah, so we learned over the last few issues that the underwater people of Iskalon have this sort of like, not quite hive mind, but definitely like this group mentality that is almost biological in nature. Like schools of fish or flocks of birds, they will inevitably end up following the lead of somebody, and it becomes this sort of instinctual shift in the mob when somebody takes control. And Kendall is sort of just saying, hey, you should all do that. And everyone in the mob is like, yeah.
They respond to confidence, right? Is sort of the thing, right? It's like somebody seems like they know, because they talk about that. It's like, oh, Primor's not really the leader. It's just everyone sort of agrees that guy seems to know what he's doing. So where he goes, we're gonna go, right? Like, it's an interesting idea. I will say this makes them seem pretty dumb, though.
Yeah, I kept expecting Leia to take command here, right? It's like, okay, they respond to leadership and, like, confidence. That's Leia's whole bag.
Yeah, but that would require them to make Leia a character, and this book refuses.
So, anyway, Luke's gonna throw some rocks at them with the Force.
Yeah, let's do that instead.
I had to reread this page a few times. The art is a little unclear about what's happening.
Once again, I do like. There's a lot of this issue really is big on speed lines and stuff, where it's like we have to Luke is using the Force, and you can tell once again because of the Speed Racer-esque energy lines around him.
Yeah, and then we cut to a lot of people getting pelted by rocks, and then we're back to Luke and Leia going, "Run!"
Yeah, sure. It's I mean, once again, it's just sort of like, hey, everybody's upset with us. What do we do? Rocks, get out of here.
Right. And the fact that a book called Star Wars has to slow down for a whole panel for Leia to say, Luke is trained as a Jedi Knight hero. It gives him partial mastery over the Force, the energy field generated by all living things. We're not all as out of touch with our environment as you think.
Yeah, that's another one that's fun to imagine, like mid-run, her going like, by the way, Luke, he's trained as Jedi Knight. He's got the Force. And, yeah, that's not good stuff, you guys.
Anyway, let's cut to some Imperials thinking about how smug they are.
Oh, so smug.
We commented on these 3 Imperials last issue, how they're all sort of like aping each other about who can be the most efficient and evil, and there's one amongst them who has claimed R2-D2 as like, oh yes, I'm responsible for that droid, that very efficient, very diligent droid who's now having access to all of our information systems.
We did see in the last issue that like a big part of it was like, R2 single-handedly has brought efficiency like way up. and this guy was just like, I knew the whole time. That's my droid. He rules.
I kept waiting for this guy to get some comeuppance, and he never does. But
I do like. Is this tower standing above them?
No, these are just like 3 random Imperials, just like looking around, being like, "Yep, everything's going great here. We're evil."
I do love this thought bubble where this guy's like, "What a great time to be part of the Empire. Everything's really been going our way." Surely nothing bad will come for us at any point later in this issue.
Okay, this is the thought bubble of a guy who's never interacted with Darth Vader, because it says here, we've got security with a battle fleet right in this system, and Lord Darth Vader has paid us a surprise inspection visit at a time when all news is good anyway.
Yeah, man, he's never interacted or heard tell of Vader other than just like, that guy's awesome.
He knows that Darth Vader is above him on the org chart, so he's happy he's here.
Yeah, boss is going to come and give me a thumbs up for a good job.
You know what Darth Vader's known for? Giving attaboys.
Yeah. I'm going to show him the spreadsheet of our efficiency, and he's going to be like, great job, everybody.
Mimosas on me.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I do like the guy saying like, yeah, that R2's with me, and this other guy's thinking like, or maybe you're just bullshitting to get a promotion. Am I right?
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Meanwhile, R2 is doing some skullduggery.
Yeah, because I guess R2's plan is he did such a good job that they're just going to kind of be like, well, keep on keeping on, which means he can just hack the whole, or slice, to use the Star
very good, John.
Yeah.
Good job.
I know from Star Wars, Kirk.
But we have one of these Imperial's officers even saying, he, referring to R2, has been cleared, has been security cleared for top information storage and retrieval systems. And I don't even know who owns him.
How long has this been going? Because it seems like R2 did good work for like 2 hours, and they just made him the top droid. Like,
yeah, I mean, based on the timeline of events here, at most 2 hours.
It also makes it seem like, how shitty were the other droids? That this guy comes in and does some decent work for a while, and they're like, whoa!
Yeah.
We didn't know droids could do this!
The bar was so low that R2 just had to have, like, halfway decent work ethic and show up on time, and suddenly everyone's impressed.
My God, look at this guy go! And anyway, and so they're like, great, give him access to all the systems. Oh, he's betrayed us.
Yeah. But meanwhile, we cut back to some of our other heroes, which include Lando and 3PO and Chewbacca and Monet, who are in jail.
We saw that. That was the cliffhanger we were left with last time, was that they have been taken. And everybody's like, oh, man, we got knocked out.
Yeah. So Lando's the first to get up. He wakes up Chewie. Chewie turns 3PO back on. Lando's helping Monet out. And they're all like, oh, our heads. Oh, Boise.
Monet, who I said this about the drawing of this last, looks straight up dead in that first issue. When he's just like on the ground with his mouth.
Yeah, he looks like a dead fish. And
Yeah.
that is on purpose, I think. But we also learn that he is maybe actually the closest to death because he is wearing this weird reverse diving helmet that lets him breathe air by surrounding his head in water.
Yeah, it's a helmet full of water is what this technology is.
Right. But he's been wearing it for so long that the oxygen levels in the water are starting to get depleted as well, which is a thing that can happen, absolutely.
I mean, they thought it out. They did think it out. Also, I want to talk about emo Chewie.
Chewie's bummed, man. He doesn't like it. Who knocked out Chewie?
I do want to know who is capable of that. But the bangs down his face, like, oh, man.
Yeah, look.
It's bad.
Chewie's having a rough one. His best friend's been kidnapped. Now he's in prison with Lando and 3PO. It's bad news.
It is bad. Yeah. And once again, lest we forget, all of this is keeping them from saving his best friend Han Solo.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not thrilled about it either, Chewie.
They're all picking themselves back up. We got to figure out what to do next. And then, this asshole. It's Tower.
Of course it is.
Remember Tower? He's the bad guy last issue that Vader has a low opinion of. He's got that target reticle for an eyeball.
Which I got to say is pretty rad, though.
Still pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
And he's just going to give away the game here and say, oh, by the way, it was your wife that betrayed you all.
To add insult to injury. Yeah. Chew on that for a while. Why don't you?
How could they have known we were going to be here? Because one of your friends betrayed you, of course. In fact, it was your little wife, Fishman. She was hoping to buy your life and the life of your father by turning the rebels over to us and buying our friendship. Too bad it worked against her. We took care of Iskalon and all the rebels on it. Set off the Iskalon effect. And again, really unclear about what the Iskalon effect is other than just cause and effect.
Yeah, I mean, they shot a missile at the planet.
I guess the Iskalon effect... Yeah, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be destructive no matter where they shot it?
We still do not know what the missile was other than explosive, so...
I just think it's so interesting that they're like, if we shoot this here, it will set off the Iskalon effect, a thing we're very much trying to make happen.
We all know about the Iskalon effect, right?
We're going to write a whole spin-off novel about it.
Anyway, Tower, really cementing the fact that he is a bad guy, says, I wish I could have been there to see the wave our missile set off.
And meanwhile, Monet is not even hearing this because he's just like, did he say my wife betrayed us?
Yeah, Monet's going to be in a rough way for the rest of this issue because he is dealing with the most immediate fallout of the whole Kendall situation. We'll get into it, but it's part of the reason why this issue ends so abruptly.
And meanwhile, Chewie is just getting steamed.
But don't worry, 3PO's here to empathize. Chewbacca, please, I share your feelings.
I do like, conceivably, this is like a solid metal door, and though it ends up being booby-trapped, Chewie does punch it enough to just indent the thing out of the guy.
Yeah, Chewie, in his frustration, lunges forward and tries to destroy the door leading out of this prison cell. It's booby-trapped, it electrifies Chewie, but it's enough to make Tower flinch.
Yeah, holy shit. I mean, fair enough. You don't want a pissed off Wookiee around. That's for sure.
No, again, real big questions as to how they even managed to cart Chewbacca in here.
Because I feel like even if you're using the stun blast from a blaster, you'd still have to get a couple shots in on him, right?
Yeah, and we never really saw exactly how everyone was captured. We just kind of hard cut to they were disabled.
That's what I mean. The comic just kind of rolls over it. At some point, they captured Chewie. Anyway, Chewie howls. Lando says, "Tower, you filthy coward."
And Tower's going to be like, all right, settle down, y'all. We're going to start torturing the hell out of you, so just wait in line.
Yeah, everybody, single file to the torture room.
Start with the Wookiee, because start with the Wookiee.
Yeah, but his torturing is interrupted. But also we should mention, not only does he have the target for an eye, he does just straight up have a Satan goatee.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is like...
Yeah.
He's got we say sometimes that people have a bad case of bad guy face. He's got bad guy everything.
Yeah, this is a 90s Gary Oldman character. Anyway, so he's like, anyway, we're going to start the torture. Hey, whoa, what's this? K3PX? Why are you interrupting my torturing?
And K3PX...
I didn't ask for you, droid.
Yeah, but droid's going to big dog Tower here. Because he's coming in with a bunch more stormtroopers and saying, no, you'll come with me. I've come from talking with Lord Vader. And guess what? He's pissed.
Also, can we talk about the Disney villain expression on Tower's face when he hears Vader's name? Vader?
Well, specifically after K3PX says, and he is displeased, and also, you're under arrest.
But he can't. You can't. And I like these, like, guards, stop this lunatic machine. No, they heard Vader, and they're putting this guy in cuffs.
I love the stormtrooper here being like, Lord Vader's orders. You're under arrest. This droid's on the up and up.
I'm like, come on, Tower. I love the idea about, like, don't embarrass yourself, buddy. All right, let's make it easy. Come on. Here we go. Let's go.
We all know how this ends.
And Tower going, but.
He's so surprised his hat flies off for no apparent reason.
And then I like all this happens, and I just love the beat of them walking away, and then it's Lando and Monet being like, "Hey, what happened up there? Hello?"
And that's when R2 rolls up.
Yeah, R2 just casually rolls up and opens up their cell.
That's what R2 do.
Yeah, I will just say, would Chewie have not damaged the door enough, maybe, that it wouldn't open cleanly? I'm moving on.
Okay. Because, speaking of Chewie, let's get to the most hardcore moment in this issue.
When he just launches himself at this stormtrooper?
Well, so the door opens up. They're going to try to sneak away, but there's still a couple of guards in the detention level. So Chewie's got to make sure that there aren't any more guards on the detention level by lunging like Wolverine at this guy.
It's a full-on Wolfman-like image.
Yeah, for real. And then on the next page... These two panels are so good.
I can't believe this is in here. Is this guy comic code approved on it?
So
it is wrenches the guy's neck.
It is just two little panels in the top left corner of the page. The first is this guard standing there with a Wookiee hand on his shoulder and a Wookiee hand above his head. And then the next panel is that head turned a full 90 degrees to the right as one Wookiee paw snaps this guy with a crunch.
A loud crunch. And yeah, he's just, I mean, I was like, holy shit. That's the most hardcore thing we've seen in this comic. Good God. Even the movies never show Chewie snapping necks.
I am usually up earlier than my partner most mornings, and so like I keep myself a little quiet as I'm moving about the house, trying to make sure don't wake her up, whatever. But I was reading this comic, I got to this point, and I burst out cackling because it was so funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, we move on from our neck snapping.
You lost me at I was up early at all. No.
I know. Look, my job facilitates I wake up early, and it has trained my body at this point to like, oh, it's 6 a.m. I guess our eyes are open. Great.
That's good, actually, that you should, because I think, you know, if you were to not do that on the weekends and stuff like that, that would make it harder. So
sure, but good. When you go to bed after midnight, sometimes you don't want to wake up that early, John.
Oh, I'm aware, because I do that, and then I don't get up that early. But that's
fair enough.
We live different lives.
Anyway, they find their way to the Millennium Falcon. It's fine.
They do. It's right there. And also, I love this. Just where you talk about just like, oh yeah, and by the way, ought to put in the computer that said we'll just be let go and that our ship is clear to fly away.
Cool.
Just throw that in there.
R2's doing some heavy lifting this issue. Off panel.
So anyway, then Tower is brought to the hologram image of Darth Vader, who's calling in.
And not the hologram image he just keeps in his office. This is a live feed.
No, Vader's. It's best the Vader doesn't know about that and what he does. But he's just like, and once again, I love this Vader where it's just like, oh, you were gonna do what now, and with who?
He's calling Tower out on like, you done goofed. You have blown up a planet, and there was somebody there that the Emperor and I have been hunting for a long time.
I just like that he's just like, did you blow up a whole planet? And it's like, but there were rebels there, sir. It's like, and you didn't think to ask if we were interested in any of these rebels in particular? You dumb fuck. I thought that was shocking. When Vader called him a dumb fuck in this comic, I couldn't believe it.
Not since Orson Krennic has a man been so rightly told by Lord Vader.
Holy shit. That is, what a pleasure that scene is.
Well, man, that scene is given even better context after the second season of Andor, when Krennic is like this big bad like force tapping people on the chest and poking them in the head. And then we cut to Rogue One, and who's getting big dog? Why, it's Krennic by Lord Vader. Don't choke on your aspirations.
It's my favorite thing about Krennic, which is he is the big fish in the small pond, right? He is such middle management nonsense. He's scary, almost people around him, yeah. Tower is a little
giving that energy, yeah.
He's a little of a precursor to Krennic, for sure. And it's something I love. So anyway, this guy comes in and goes, actually, we just discovered that there are people alive on Iskalon. And this guy's like, oh, thank the Force. Oh, Jesus. Whew.
The idea that an Imperial officer would be like, oh, thank the Force, in front of Lord Vader is supremely funny to me. And it gets even funnier on the next page.
Vader's response is perfect. Thank the Force. And Vader says, the Force is not with you, Tower. It is with me.
And he ends the call. Just absolutely grade A Vader here. Say what you will about Duffy and your opinions on, like, whether or not she's writing compelling stories. She gets these characters in ways that previous writers have not.
Definitively, the voices of the characters are the strongest suit of her writing. And like I said, I do blame some of the storytelling. Once again, I have no idea, but my speculation is I just think this wasn't a priority for editing.
Sure. Editorial was just like, we just need to put this Star Wars book out, and Return of the Jedi is around the corner. We're not going to address it right now.
Like, if you could just end this story right now and do, like, whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of, like, hurry up, come on, let's get this done, Anyway, and so...
Speaking of hurry up, come on, Vader ends the call saying, guards, execute Admiral Tower. Transmission ends.
Damn. I love it.
Last we see of Tower is stormtrooper guns being leveled at his back.
I just like, and before I go, kill this fool. See ya. Yeah. Amazing. Anyway, let's get some TIE fighter pilots who are just like, hey, what's that ship? And then it's like, I don't know. They got clearance, though. Isn't it the most famous ship in the Rebel fleet?
Nah, that's Home 1.
Every other time this ship shows up anywhere, everyone is like, look, it's the Millennium Falcon. But these guys are like, what the hell is that thing? I don't know.
Could be anyone.
Yeah. So anyway, there they go.
We cut back to
meanwhile, and a battle is ensuing as this mob of fish people are attacking Luke, Leia, and what's this guy's name?
This is Kino.
Kino, yeah.
I didn't love this as Leia, Luke, and Kino start mowing down civilians.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad. They're just misled, right?
Yeah, and they're only, like, all three of our heroes, they got their backs against a wall. They've, like, got themselves in a little hidey hole here, but the angry mob is at their door, and they're coming right at them. So their only option here is to start mowing people down. And even Kino, this is his people, are like, look, this is a schooling effect that's happening. They're all just following the leader here. Our only choice is to start shooting people.
Because I like Leia goes, do we have to kill them all? And then this guy's like, yes! It's the only way they'll know.
And his line here is, when Leia asks, do we have to kill them all? He says, yes, with the school, it's the only way. Otherwise, they may never stop.
And keep in mind, these are displaced refugees whose home was just destroyed.
Yeah.
It's really very dark.
It's not great.
But the comic just kind of rolls over all that.
But, I mean, and then we get even more complicated because then it turns out they're working with the stormtroopers here. Because remember, there's like the aqua troopers that are on this world. And Kendall is rallying both the living stormtroopers and the aquatic peoples of Iskalon here.
Because, which is wild, too. So you've got stormtroopers in the mix. And then I do love the stormtrooper who's just got like a stick at this point. They're like a hunk of metal.
And they're all charging, and Luke, Leia, and Kino are just mowing them down. It's kind of grim.
And Kendall is egging it on, going, yeah, kill the aliens. They killed my beloved. They killed our leader. They killed my husband. Fuck them. Get them, murder, murder, murder.
The stormtrooper at the front here saying, come on, maybe their stingers weren't well charged enough to withstand another rush.
And then one of them gets behind Leia, and his thought bubble is insane when we get to, that's it, honey. Just keep watching that group ahead of you for another minute.
And Kiro turns around and is like, Leia, look out, and takes one to the face for Leia.
Takes a headshot for Leia, yeah.
So Kiro goes down, Luke grabs a big pointy stick and just guts this guy.
Yeah. This is a gnarly issue.
Yeah.
Without really indicating that. I mean, it's like the tone of it is very strange. Because this is some of the darkest, most violent stuff we've seen, but the comic is just like, it's just more Star Wars.
I do appreciate that Luke has not busted out his mystery lightsaber here.
I also appreciate that because he shouldn't have one, of course. But
exactly. He guts this guy. A random mob citizen says he went right through that trooper's armor. Holy shit!
And then let's talk about the bloodthirsty Luke Skywalker that shows up in this comic sometime. Where he's like, "Who's next? Come on, let's go."
Bloodthirsty comic book Luke is one of the classic runners that I do like in the Marvel Star Wars comics.
Let's do it. Who am I sending to hell next? Come on, you cowards.
And look, rash, go get him Luke is a thing that shows up every once in a while.
He does, but he is usually a little bit more serene than come on, give me a reason.
I always go to the penultimate scene in Return of the Jedi when he's finally got one over on Vader and is just hammering down on him on the railing there.
Yep. I mean, there is, and that's the point, of course, is that Palpatine knows that rage is in Luke and is counting on him to embrace it. It
comes out in ways in this comic that feel a little bit more heightened and silly.
Then I like that Leia's like, Luke, he's not dead.
But he might be if we don't get him to the water because his helmet exploded.
I just like the idea that's stop, don't murder out of vengeance, Luke.
No. Right. Murder due to survival, because that's what they end up having to do. Luke throws Kiro over a shoulder. Leia's got her gun, and they got to make a mad dash through this mob to the water.
So, I mean, they've finished the genocide that the Empire started, right?
It's a horrible, grim, complicated situation that, is otherwise very out of sync with this book, but makes for compelling Star Wars.
It could be if it was treated with a weight. I would like to see this as more like, God, what did we do? Instead, they're just sort of, do we really have to? And they're like, yeah, and then they move on,
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my issue. It's the blasé murder that gets me.
They're fighting their way to the water to try to save Kiro, and then, remember those sea monsters from earlier?
Yeah, what a shame. Yeah, that'd be a real bad time for one of them to show up. Oops.
And there it is, the Chiaki. And it's coming right at us.
It's diving at us. And then, vorp, 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 vorp.
Yeah, thankfully, you know what the Millennium Falcon is good for? Swooping in at the last second to shoot things.
You know what? I should be keeping track of that because that's happened. Let me carry 250 times. No, it really does. Yeah, the Millennium Falcon showing up out of nowhere to save the day happens all the time. Anyway, it shoots this thing to death. More murder.
And it's gonna fall over and die. We cut to Monet, who's on the bridge of the Millennium Falcon, seeing this thing fall, and it falls right onto his wife.
And then Leia's like, "Oh shit, that thing fell," and he's like, "Ah, don't worry about it, Leia.
We gotta save Kiro." So Luke's gotta waterboard this kid.
He was a dirty traitor, all right? She can get smushed, okay? That's fine. Let's save the guy we like.
There's this weird panel here. It's like, I understand what's happening here, but it is Luke jamming somebody's head underwater, so it's a strange image.
I'm saving him by drowning him. Yeah, and so he's like, "Thanks, Luke, for not letting me die. And hey, we have the same haircut."
No one ever pointed it out. It's so weird.
Do you also go to Alejandro? Alejandro's space cuts.
I am imagining Alejandro as one of those four-armed guys that ran that diner, like Dex.
Yeah, and he's got like clippers and a comb, and and he's got.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mr. Skywalker, I'm so glad you're here.
Mr. Skywalker. Yeah, one of them's like a real New York guy with the Dexter. Was it Dexter? Was it
Dexter Jetster?
It is Dexter Jetster. Yeah, it is Dexter. I was like, is it Dexter? Worked hard on that one. I mean, please Bagano. Same movie. Anyway, George was off that when he wrote that one. Anyway, I run a diner, whatever. Anyway, so that I like that you just have the living fish people being like, who do we follow now?
They go from insensate rage to confusion and aimless wandering around at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I like the idea of the fish school thing, and we sort of just naturally glom onto a leader, but now they've made them like lemmings. Like, they're just so stupid that they're like, did somebody tell us where to go? I don't know.
Yeah. And look, we've got 4 panels to wrap up this issue because this is the last page of the book. So we're going to make it real quick here.
So Lando reunites with Leia, and she's so happy that they saved them, and everyone's happy they're alive. And
there's one guy who's not happy.
Poor Monet's like, "Hey, is that my wife's corpse over there?
Squished beneath that sea monster?"
No, I just and what that does. I mean, the thing that's they really wreck Kendall, right? Which is like she gets no ability to explain herself. She just turns into a straight up baddie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some lines from Tower about like, "Oh yeah, we misled her," or whatever. You're like, yeah, but she turned into murder. She sicked a murder mob on our heroes, like, and now she's dead with no ability to explain herself or to talk to Monet before she dies. So it's just like, my poor wife, but she was a fucking traitor at the same time. You're just like, wow.
I mean, all we get in these last 3 panels is dialogue from Monet as he goes, "Why, my beloved, why?" And then he turns to our heroes saying, "Luke, Lando, we must say farewell now. And when you return to the planets of the air breathers, tell your fellow rebels that none of them are welcome here. I am the son of Primor, and the school will follow me. I shall lead into the deeps. There shall be no more pavilions, no more tanks, no more living in 2 worlds, not so long as there is an empire." And then the issue ends.
I'm just like, wow. And so then this guy like turns on the universe.
I mean, like, do you blame him?
No, but it just kind of, the way it's just sort of like, okay. Once again, it's just like, we ran out of pages.
Yeah, it really feels like we ran out of pages because there's no rebuttal here from Leia or anybody being like, but it was the Empire.
Yeah. Yeah, technically nothing. Like, why are you? Oh, I don't know. Why are you turning against the rebels too?
They're not necessarily turning against the rebels, but they're certainly turning their back on the rebels.
They're turning away from the world at large. They're being completely separatists, not to bring that in from also Star Wars.
Well, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, John, is a whole other thing.
They're isolationist is the word I'm looking for.
There we go. Okay.
They're just, but it's like, I don't know. It seems like, I mean, I guess the point here is that it's supposed to be like, hey, we just don't want any part of your war. When it seems like, I don't know, I would think this would radicalize them into like, look at what the Empire did to our people.
We got this whole story 2 issues ago about how 2/3 of this solar system has already been either exterminated or dominated by the Empire, and Iskalon was on this weird edge case. But even before this, they had sent like ambassadors to the Empire being like, hey, we are cool, man, we just want to be left alone. And the Empire, in response to a couple of people just being here, was like, nuke the planet.
I know. And then they're just like, so you know what? We're just gonna let it all go. Which just seems like a weird reaction. And also, wasn't this guy like Lando's best friend just a couple hours ago?
Well, Kendall's whole thing was like, I want to go on an adventure and go help out these rebellion friends, and my dad can hang back here. And obviously, he's experienced a ton of loss all at once. We get basically no interiority on Monet during this whole issue, basically.
That's not like all of the fish people kind of get sold out here down the stretch to make the story work, right?
Yeah, and even Kiro, who is like the most stalwart ally in this issue to Luke, it has nothing to say after, hey, thanks for not letting me die.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a lot of meaty ideas here that just don't get explored. And I think, like I said, I think it's just like, hey, you got to wrap this. We got 22 pages. I mean, it is that thing about, and I'm sure you've heard other comics creators talk about this. I've heard a number of people recently talk about like, why are they 22 pages? Like we've all just sort of accepted that comics are a certain thing.
Well, it's 22 pages. I mean, it has to do with how they're printed, right? Like you can print and staple them in a certain number of pages based on print runs. And so the 22 comes out to a certain amount of math. I believe the actual number is like 28 once you include the ads, right?
The covers and the ads and the creators page and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting thing where we are still, even today, making comics based on periodical printing, economy, right? Like economic choices.
The same with streaming shows and act breaks, right? Like you create the act breaks, and that was originally intended in television for like those are the ad breaks. And now it's just a storytelling structure that television shows still adhere to because it feels natural to us.
Some do and some don't. And I think that we're seeing that in comics too, right? We're seeing,
graphic novels exist.
Yeah, graphic novels exist. Digital comics that are either shorter or longer. It's it's an interesting thing. But this one really did feel like we hit 20. Hey man, you're at 22 pages. You got to stop this thing. I was kind of shocked when it ended, and I went, shouldn't there be another? No.
Hello, comic book.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about Star Wars comics in general, and also like how we structure them. Just recently, we've talked quite a bit on this show about the new Marvel Star Wars run, and like where it picks up and its quality and such like. There is now a new way to read that, because as of, I believe, like today or yesterday, as of this recording, you can now read the Skywalker Strikes storyline, or at least the start of it, over on Webtoons, the scrolling webcomic app.
Oh, okay.
So
not my bag, but I know some people like that.
I like it for certain comics, but for comics that were originally printed in the way we were just talking about to then get converted into a webtoon, I have very mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, because a lot of those are expressly written, designed that way. I mean, they're designed for the format that they're being presented in. So you write
artist's intention with panel layouts and such is not meant to be a continually scrolling experience.
Right. Yeah. So
books that are converted to that after the fact are usually edited in ways that like changes the panel layout, then what I'll be interested to compare them side by side is what I'm saying.
It's a thing about, you ever turned on the panel by panel reading on the Marvel app?
It's hit or miss, yeah.
Because once again, it's not designed that way. Some of the more digital, like the Marvel Infinity stuff, is designed for that. But I've turned it on a couple times just out of curiosity, and you're like, "Oh, that's not the order I would have gone in." Or when it's like zooming in on individual word bubbles and stuff, you're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! That's very strange." You know, and so I think that's kind of interesting to see.
If any of our listeners out there know how that sort of thing is curated, like, is it a person who makes editing choices on a comic book, or I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like in the case of that, it would have to be to some extent, right? Because I don't think a machine is deciding that it goes to this to individual word bubbles and stuff. Maybe, but
if it is like a machine, it's more like IG-88 than anything else, as far as I'm concerned.
You mean the living Death Star? Look, hey man, the EU, I loved a lot of it, but some of it is goofy as hell.
There's some silly stuff out there. But not quite as silly as this book, because I think we're done on Iskalon, but the hunt for Tay Vanis continues.
Right. What I love is, as much talk as they get about the guy, we still get no answers about him in this.
Or the mysterious information that he and his partners somehow collected.
That's right. Lest we forget, he's got information that's very important. What it is, we still don't know.
Now, John, if you had to tread water in a Star Wars book for issues at a time, but you knew, because Return of the Jedi had already come out months ago, that there was some important information introduced in that movie that might be relevant to our heroes' adventures in said movie, what information might they be hunting for in the lead up for that?
I'm assuming it's the plans of the second Death Star.
We'll see, I guess. I mean, we know many Bothans died to retrieve that information, but that could hardly become relevant when hunting for a guy named Tay Vanis, right?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if Bothans come up in this thing at all.
They won't!
No, yeah. No, I assume.
What do you think this is? Shadows of the Empire?
Yeah. I mean, they just did the whole between New Hope and Empire, between Empire and Jedi comic, and then the subsequent Battle of Jakku stuff. So, you know, a lot of this has been addressed. I mean, it once again, it's unfair, but yes, obviously the current Marvel Star Wars comic is a lot better.
Right. And if you want to read that now, for free if you want, you can do it over on Webtoons. They're not a sponsor, but I'm curious to get people's reaction to that book 10 years after its initial release, now in a new format and wildly available to anyone who wants to read it.
Yeah, I'm most curious where the comic is right now with because they've entered the what Star Trek would call the Lost Era, and I will call it that for Star Wars as well. Which is that, 30-year gap between Jedi and Force Awakens, which, of course, some of the shows are loosely filling in, but more to the side of stuff. This is now expressly what Han and Luke and Leia are doing.
Yeah, I've heard people call it the Mandalorian era, the New Republic era. We don't have a term really.
They'll release a timeline at some point and get right. They always do. But well, if you want to hear more from us, and why wouldn't you, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup, that's punchup ENT, get cool exclusive bonus content, as well as help support all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. Once again, that's patreon.com/punchupent.
You can also find all of those shows over on YouTube. That's youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. You can watch along with this show. If you look directly to my, stage left, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, somewhere on the screen, there will be comic book panels that you can read with us. If I'm pointing to the left, I'm looking at my recording screen right now. I'm pointing at where the panels used to be, and that's confusing because on the video screen that I see John on, it's mirrored for logistical reasons. But leastways,
you're looking at the screen, you're on the left side, I'm on the right side of the
yeah. But
the panel.
Anyway, you can read the comic along with us. You can also find all the other shows for the Punch Up Entertainment Network over on our YouTube page. While you're there, please like, comment, subscribe in the comments below. Like I said, let me know what you think about the new webtoon experience of the 2016 Marvel Star Wars comics. I'd be curious to get people's opinions on that. But I think that is going to do it for us this week. As always, I have been Mike Ergoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.